Hi, welcome back to Ammosmith.com. Today we're going to start digging into the AR15 we built. It's an M4 configuration, and I want to go over the concept that I put into the rifle, all the considerations I took when building it for my use, and what I've learned about the stuff that I purchased for it. So, and over here I have the accessories, and we'll go over that as well, but let me clear the table and just have the rifle here, and let's go over this. Well, here's the basic rifle as I have it configured for it to best suit me. What I have was originally an AR15A2, with 20-inch heavy barrel, and so I built this off of that lower receiver. So this is a Bushmaster. Now the upper receiver and the rail system is Yankee Hill, and I couldn't be happier. For the money and for the quality, you can't beat it. Yankee Hill is by far the best that I've come across that I can afford. I went with Magpul. I was introduced to Magpul with the P mags, and I thought, man, I gotta give some of their other products a try. I really love the CTR stock here. The ability for this to lock and become rigid is great for precision shooting. There are backup sights that I bought. I really like them. They're not adjustable for range, but really they're backup sights, so who cares? The EOTech, this has been a learning experience. I really want to go over this, what people have told me, and what I've actually found out. Inside the gun, and we're going to go over this a lot, is the Timney trigger. Of all the stuff that I've purchased building this rifle, you take this side away, just put a wear a scope on, what have you. This has really made this rifle what it is. I love this trigger. It is absolutely reliable. It goes in easily. It's pre-adjusted, so you don't have to worry about these trigger kits where you have to adjust it here, adjust it there. Has enough tension and mass to the hammer and the hammer spring that it reliably fires all mil-spec primers. Haven't found anything yet this will not initiate. It is very smooth, and with the 22 conversion, it almost never ever jams. If there's a jamming problem, it's usually something that I've done, or there's been buildup that needs to be cleaned. And this thing will go 300-400 rounds without a jam. So it's amazing. So I'm going to change the camera angle. I want to get some close-ups inside and just work all the way across this thing. Okay, here's the lower. Put these pins back in. I'm left-handed, so one first things I wanted to do was make it as ambidextrous as possible. I wanted anybody to pick it up and feel comfortable with it, with your left or right hand. So the only real difference here is the DPMS safety selector. Also got the left-handed ergo grip. I've been really happy with this. The standard plastic A2 grip I was trained with in the Marine Corps really sucks. And with as many accessories out there, and if you're going to build a custom gun yourself, make it the way you want it. We can see the Timney trigger here. It doesn't look too much different than a stock trigger, which is nice. They have a skeletonized one, which I didn't go for because I wanted this to look as OEM as possible. I installed the Magpul trigger guard. The reason why I did, I really liked how it looked. Simple as that. Looks cool. I got the metal one and not the plastic one. Inside, we have the Timney. I love this trigger. I can't tell you enough about this trigger. I have bought other triggers. I bought a JP Enterprise trigger for my Colt AR15, and it was a big disappointment. There was a lot of adjustment, a lot of guesswork. And it did not fire military primers at all, and it barely fired match primers. And match primers in AR-15 are dangerous anyway. So it was torn out and the stock trigger put back in. But on the Timney, there is no fear of that. This thing is finely machined. It is absolutely precise. Anybody can put it in. Anybody. The only thing you got to know is when you put it in, your pins aren't going to lock per se like they do with the stock trigger. You have 2 sets of lock screws and a set screw that goes on top of those. I put this thing in twice. Once to see how it went, and the second time during video production. And since then it has not moved. I have fired close to 3,000 rounds of 22 long rifle out of this, and up to about 800 rounds of standard 5.56 NATO. Nothing has come loose. The only malfunctions I've had in firing this weapon has not been trigger related, has been ammunition related. The misfires I have had have been not only misfires in this weapon, but when we tried that same cartridge in a different weapon, it would also misfire. So this trigger is not only sufficiently heavy to do all that, but it is machined, and the tolerances are such and designed in such a way that even with the 22 conversion, this thing is absolutely flawless, completely flawless. I love it. And the one I have installed in here is the 3-pound trigger. I've seen other triggers. The thing that really attracted me to the Timney was the fact that it was 1 unit. You just plop it in. The only thing you have to remove is the safety selector, and anybody can do that. Put it in and you're done. Now back here, I went with the Magpul CTR, but I had to get rid of the A2 buffer first, and I went with the DPMS 6 position because I like something that has more options than just open and shut. Simple as that. Got the Magpul sling attachment. I really like this, especially if you're transitioning from left hand to right hand. It's really nice. I'm still getting a little bit used to it because on full close sometimes, especially on this side, it'll kink for some reason, and I can't get this all the way shut, which is no big deal. If it's just right here, it's no big deal. And that's really it for the lower. Let's go ahead and tear into the upper. All right, the upper. I went with Yankee Hill because the way they were priced and they were on sale at Midway, it just seemed like the right thing to do. And boy, was it ever. These things are very, very well designed, extremely precise, easy to put together. Couldn't be easier. Absolutely could not be easier. And what I installed into the upper receiver was a 16-inch Daniel Defense M4 contour barrel. Has a 1-in-7 twist rate is what I wanted, because I want the option of shooting the heavy stuff whenever I wanted to. And the 1-in-9 just doesn't do it, not with the 77 grain bullet. It's chrome lined. This is the cut rifled one and not the hammer forged rifled one. That one was like $100 more, so I went with this. It's been great. It's accurate. I'm getting minute of angle or better with good hand loads at this barrel. On the front, I got the Yankee Hill Phantom compensator. It's really nice. The bottom's closed off. It's shredded on the front because, who's going to put a bayonet on an M4, right? And it's light. And the contour cut right here, I think looks really cool. So on the rail itself, on the bottom I got the Magpul sling point, their AFG1 grip, I really don't notice much of a difference between the 1 and the 2, and I'm used to this one anyway, and once I get used to something I don't like to change it. The side's got the Magpul rail covers on here, the 2-piece ones, and it's 2-color. And the funny story behind the reason why it's 2-color was I ordered the sights, and the sights came in this color with the sage green or something. Well, Midway's been a little difficult for me lately anyway, but so since I had them, I went ahead and got the a couple of packages of the same color of these, and so I just alternated. Turned out just fine. On this side, same thing. Got the rail covers, and I got my Surefire C2 Centurion flashlight on here. I really like this little light. It's not that expensive. It's over $100, but it's bright enough. And the other light I'll use on here when I'm in the desert is my Phoenix, and I'll go over that light here in a little bit. But I digress. The sights I really like. I'm going to change out the front sight post here eventually on this Magpul and bus sight. And what I'm going to do is either I'm going to swap this out for a Trijicon with a tritium lamp or a fiber optic one, because I want to see this. If I'm using this, I really want to see my front sight. And the EOTech. So what have I learned? Well, I have learned a lot, and I want to put the weapon all back together, pan out on it, and tell you what I've learned and what every AR15 should have. If you're going to build a rifle, you might as well, in 5.56, there's a couple of things I really think everybody should have. When I built this thing, there was 2 directions I was going to go in. I was either going to go with a kind of like a match varmint rifle, flat top kind of deal, where I could put the carrying handle and the front sight post on and compete with it. But I already built a match rifle, and so that would just be a sight, you know, variation on the same thing, right? Or go with more of a carbine version, which I decided to go with. And I wanted a gun, rifle, weapon, what have you, that was omni-useful. I wanted something that primarily I can defend my family, you know, in my home with. I wanted something fun. I wanted something affordable to shoot, so I didn't stray from the 5.56 NATO, and something anybody can shoot. So my daughter can shoot it, my girlfriend can shoot it, you know, my friends can shoot it, especially with this adjustable stock. This is really handy. But some of the things I learned on the way too is with this guy right here, be careful. I have pinched my fingers a good time on this, especially when I lock it up and you're grabbing it. I've pinched myself right here a few good times, and it really hurts. But the benefit of this thing, you know, instead of wiggling around when you're trying to take a precision shot, you know, locks up, is terrific. The sight. The sight has been a real learning experience. This sight does take some getting used to. I was trained in the Corps on an M16A2 with aperture sights. I love aperture sights. But once I got used to this, I really, really like it. But I don't have good vision, so I was torn between either putting just a regular magnified optic on it like this, or because it has a bullet drop compensator on it, why not get a magnifier? Well, you know what? On the whim, I co-witnessed my loophole on here, and I'm going to do it while I'm telling you about it, just to see if it'll co-witness this. And you know what? It does. It does. And it does it quite effectively. It adds significant weight to the rifle. You know, there is a downside to it, but this is what I like about this setup right here. I can use this at night and leave it on the gun, on the weapon, and I have to worry about losing it, dropping it. I always know where it is because it's right here, right? And I can leave it off, and I can use this in the daytime because this is a Loophole Vari-X 3, 1.5 to 5 power. Really nice little scope. I had it on my 416 Remington Magnum, and I needed an optic like this optic here, and so I pulled it off that rifle because right now I just can't afford to shoot it, but I can't afford to shoot this. So here's how this works, and I figured this out shooting it with the 5.56 and with a lot of time with the 22 conversion, which I'll show you in a minute. When I turn this on, this co-witnesses perfectly with this. And not only do I see my duplex crosshairs, I see my bullet drop compensator in here illuminated. So, being that this is in the first focal plane, when I zoom in from 1.5 power, which is perfect for snap shooting and whatnot in the daytime, I can zoom in on 5 power, and my 4-dot reticle in here also zooms in, and I can, if I know my range, I still have you out to 600 meters. It's great. So now I have just saved myself the expense of buying a magnifier, which is only good for one thing: magnifying. This is a scope. If this breaks, take this out. You know, throw it away. Use this. Right? If this breaks, take this off, throw it away, use this. Or I got my backup size. It all works out great. And that was a lot of fun learning about that. And the cool thing about the EOTech is all the controls are on the side, so you don't have to reach around and do anything strange. Being left-handed, this was a learning experience. So I'm going to change the camera angle again and go over some of the other features of the rifle that I've learned about and the conversion. One other thing I have learned is the economy goes up and down, you know, nationally, and so do personal economies. Mine kind of went down a little bit. So shooting this all the time is really not an option right now. I just got through moving, and so it's going to be a little bit before I can really get back into the reloading videos. But we're going to be going into this deep. So after building this and having this nearly 9 months, I started thinking about a 22 conversion. I've been thinking about it for a while. So I bought the CMMG conversion from Midway. And when I bought it, I wasn't sure what to expect. I just took it out the package. It comes in like a little blister pack. I just took out the bulk carrier, threw this in, grabbed one of those milk carton things full of Remington 22 hollow points, and went at it. I fired this thing 350 rounds before it jammed the first time, just out of the box. No oil, no nothing. I just dropped it in. These things are accurate, but there's a couple of things you got to know. These things do have preferences, and they're different for each weapon. We fired this in one of my friend's weapons, and he had a stock mil-spec type trigger, and it would jam a lot because of whatever reason. My Timney does not jam at all. In fact, I can shoot a 22 short single shot and it'll eject out of here, and I can single load this thing that way, and it's kind of fun because it's not as loud. And the reason why I shoot 22 shorts, if you're wondering, I need the brass for making 52 grain hollow points for this thing because I use them as jackets. But this thing is really cool. It just drops right in. It is simple. Why waste your money building an entire upper dedicated to 22 when this will shoot it just as well? I've gotten 1-inch groups at 25 yards with this using Remington subsonic. For some reason, this rifle here really likes the subsonic, and it goes in so simply. It's amazing. All you got to do take out your upper, your bolt carrier out of your upper. It's a 22, just like that. And I mean, just like that. It's absolutely amazing. It does hold open on the last shot, but it doesn't stay open. You can get all these accessories and stuff for it, but you know, why bother? I'm just using this on a dueling tree I got behind me, and we'll have fun with that on video too. A couple of things I learned about it. It is accurate, but when you first put it in here, it is not. It has to settle in for some reason. And once it settles in, after about 2 or 3 clips, you know, about, this is a 10 rounder, so about, yeah, after about, you know, 15 or 20 rounds. I only put, it's a 10 round clip, I only put 5 rounds in it because anything over 7 will have an adverse effect on the spring, and I have to take it apart and it's just not worth it. So anyway, it settles in and I'll get 1-inch groups with it. The only ammunition I have not tried in it is the subsonic shorts, the 60 grain ones. I can't seem to find any around here. I really want to try it in here because the regular Remington subsonics work great. They're quiet. I can shoot this thing in the backyard all day long and it doesn't bother the neighbors. So this thing goes everywhere the rifle goes. It goes right into the shooting bag. This thing is just too much fun. Train your kids, you know, teach your wife, your girlfriend, whoever. You get someone bothering you at the range who wants to, you know, a friend who's pestering you to shoot your rifle, but you want him shooting up your ammo, you know, throw this in here, let them have at it. I love it. And plus, being so cheap to shoot, and that I recycled the brass for making jackets, is perfect. I've heard a couple things, people saying you have to shoot a live round through it to get rid of any buildup in the gas tube. I fired this thing probably 2.5 bricks, probably a good 1,500 rounds before I put you know, some center fire through here. Worked fine. There's whatever, if there was anything in there, it wasn't in there after the first shot. So it's all up to you. The only thing about this little conversion is it will not work with the piston driven ARs. So, and I think they make a conversion for this to change over for them. I don't know. It's been great. Somebody told me that the 1 7-inch twist barrel will not stabilize that little 37 grain bullet. They shoot fine. As far as I'm concerned, it shoots good enough for me. The light, I've learned a lot about the light too. The big light is a lot of fun because it's really bright, but it's kind of impractical. It adds a lot of weight. So I've been going back to lightweight. One of the reasons why I also, another thing I learned about the sight is the furthest forward, the more forward you get, the larger the reticle is, and since my eyesight isn't all that great anyway, it makes it easier for me to see the sight pattern. Because on this 4-dot reticle they got in here, to me it just looks like a red vertical post until I put this on here. So as fun as that. So what we do is we got a rimfire rated dueling tree, and I bolted it to a log here so we can move it around. We can either bring it in or push it out. This is going to come in real handy because the next thing I'm going to buy, I think, is a 22 conversion for my Glock 19. so I can do rifle pistol transitions. That's gonna be a lot of fun. You know, pick a color side. One side's white, one side's yellow, or black, or white, whatever you want to do it, and just call it, have the shooter turn, and time it. So, got the conversion in it. So, let me get a better camera angle on this and show you how this 22 conversion runs. I got American Eagle high velocity in it, and of the high velocity, this thing likes it the best. Oh, just one other note too on this 3-pound trigger. I just can't stop emphasizing how much fun this thing is. A 3-pound trigger with the 22 long rifle conversion in this is a day of a lot of fun. Got to tell you. One thing about the little CMMG conversion, keep it well lubricated. Probably about every 200 rounds or so, or when it starts, you feel it slowing down a little bit, give it a little shot of brake free or something. I'm using spray REM oil right now, but this thing's fun. Ooh, that was hot. Nice. Almost jammed, but didn't. Stovepiped a little bit. Once it settles in, and once you get it going pretty good, this thing is great. Every time I go to the range, I take it with me. So I'll go from the rifle side to the rimfire side and shoot the silhouettes with my daughter. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, we'll be doing a lot more with this rifle, and I mean a lot more. We're going to get into developing mission-specific loads for it. Whether you want frangible bullets, we've already showed you how to swage bullets. We're going to show you how to make them frangible too. Show you how to make top off your magazines, whether you want hollow point and an M855, and to show you just some of the fun things you can do with it. It's going to be a learning experience for all of us. See you soon.